All right, here we go. So this lesson is 3.3, which is subtracting integers. This is part 2. All right, 3.3 part 2 is what I'm going to call this one. All right. Um, we're going to learn a couple new terms, and we're also going to deal with word problems just a little bit, just so we can kind of get an idea of how word problems work. Okay. All right. So this is 3.3 part 2, which is subtracting integers. Okay. All right. 3.3 is subtracting integers. This is just to add upon that. All right, so I have just some quick examples for you today. Some things that you might see, especially on maybe not this next quiz, but the quiz after it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first, I want you to write down this word, evaluate. All right, evaluate is a math term, and it means one thing in math, okay? Or I think one thing in math. And evaluate basically means plug it in, okay? Evaluate means plug it in, right? So if a problem says evaluate if x equals 2, then that means that anytime you see the letter x, it actually means the letter 2, or the number 2, sorry. It means 2. So let's do some problems here, right? Let's assume that x is equal to 2, and let's say that y is equal to negative 3, okay? X is equal to 2, and y is equal to negative 3. So let's start with a problem like this. If this is true, then what is x minus y? Okay, so this is a little bit tricky, so I'm going to go along with this, help you out here. Okay, so remember, all I'm going to say is if I said evaluate, okay, evaluate if x equals 2 and y equals 3. All right, so the full thing would be, for this problem would be evaluate if x equals 2 and y equals negative 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to plug in, instead of x, we're going to put the number 2. Instead of y, we're going to put the number negative 3. Now, this is where it gets tricky, and I put parentheses because sometimes people forget that this minus is separate on its own. Okay, so one way that people make a mistake here is they'll put this. They'll say, oh, x minus y. I got it, 2 minus 3. And they'll think because this is a minus 3 right here. But remember, this minus is all on its own. This is not right. And then you just solve, okay? Then you just find the solution. You do the math. All right, so 2 minus negative 3. Let's practice again. Do our keep switch change here. So 2 keep switch and change. Minus 3 becomes a positive 3. So the answer is 5. That makes sense? Okay, you're just plugging in the numbers. Plugging in the numbers. So let's do another one here. Again, same x and same y. Let's do it the other way. What is y minus x? Can you guys do that one for me, please? All right, why don't you put in the chat what you think the answer is? All right, I got Nee, Maya, Jarek, Nee, Yen, Jenny, Cheyenne, Justin, thank you. Okay, thank you, Kelly, for your response. Thank you, Wilson. All right, anyone else? Okay, let's check it out. Here we go. So remember, x is 2, y is -3. So here we go. So -3. Now, I like to put these in parentheses. The reason why is because I like to think of it as like, okay, imagine that you have like a present, right? So what's everything in the parentheses is like inside the box, right? And so you think about it that inside the y is the -3. The -3 is instead of y. So these parentheses kind of help me to see, oh, okay, that's what's inside the box there. Okay, minus, and then x is 2. So -3 minus 2, or remember, keep switch change. Here we go. Keep switch change says -3 plus a -2, right? Because this is a +2. So it becomes a -2. So you end up with -5. Yeah. I don't think on this quiz we're going to have letters instead of numbers, but I think on the next one we will. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. Let's just try a few more. Okay. Just another set that I want you guys to do on your own here. Right. So let's try another one where it says evaluate if a equals, let's say, -6 and b is equal to +5. And let's see. Let's do this. So I'm going to give you guys a few problems here. Okay. Let's do a minus b. Let's do a minus a. Here, this is a tricky one. -b. And let's do b plus a. Okay. So a couple problems here. So let's start with C. So why don't you try to do all of them here, and then we'll go through them one by one. And if you could put, yeah, like letter C is this in the chat, you can see. You let me know what you think. All right, thank you, Jaden. Thank you, Allison. You give me your answers. Okay, Joaquin's on the way, giving me his answers. All right, Nee's giving me her answers. Thank you. Jenny's giving me her answers. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for who responded. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Give a few more seconds. All right, here we go. Let's see here. First of all, a minus b. So -6 minus +5. Everyone with me on that? Here we go. Keep switch change. -6. Keep switch change. -6 and -5 is equal to -11. Yeah? Letter C, -11. Good job. I had a lot of you guys put that in there. Okay. All right. Letter D. This one was tricky. Here we go. -6. Oops, that's a B. Sorry. -6 minus. Okay, here we go. This was tricky. So B is 5, but you have a negative out in front. -6 minus a -5. Okay, keep switch change. Here we go. Keep. Switch. -5 becomes +5. So this is going to be +1. Just kidding. Sorry. -1. Negatives win. Yeah? -1. Oops. Somebody has put +1, -1. I almost put +1. You can see how I almost made a mistake there. -1. Negatives win. All right. Lastly, B plus A. 5 plus A, which is -6. 5 plus -6. I don't need to do keep switch change, right? It's already adding. Remember, if you're already adding, you do not need to do keep switch change. So 5 plus -6 is equal to -1. Right? You don't need to do keep switch change if you're already adding.
Mr. Leon, for C, minus B, is the minus belong to B, right?
Yeah. So on letter D, the question was, does the B belong to the negative belongs to the B? Yeah. On this one, inside. Right.
No, I mean letter C.
Oh, for letter C, sorry. No, this minus is separate. So you see the difference between letter C and letter D. Letter B. This is A minus B. So if I do it like this, watch. We see that? How the minus is separate? So let me write this out again. So this is A, which we know is -6, minus B, which is 5. You see that? The minus stays, the B becomes 5, the A becomes -6, and the minus stays as a minus. I know that's a little bit tricky. But again, if you kind of think of it as what's inside the box, what's inside those parentheses, that might help you out a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So we don't have to really worry about this for our quiz coming up, but it's just something that's good for us to know kind of going forward. All right. Because there's going to be problems like this later. And in general, knowing how to plug in numbers. Now, once you plug in the numbers, being able to do the math correctly, that's a big part of it. All right. So again, once you kind of put in the numbers, hopefully it's not too bad, and we're just need to be a little bit better with our integer stuff. Okay. All right.